Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Amma ba'd. Come to a really important usul from the usul of the Sunnah that we have to distinguish and we have to be on top of it so that we don't make a mistake of using the statements of the Imam of the Salaf like Imam Ahmed. We make tabdi' of people when they don't deserve to have tabdi' put on them. Or we make takfir of people when they don't deserve that. Because Imam Ahmed, he made what is known as al-itlaq. Al-itlaq. Atlaq al-kalam. He just made general speech. So a person can find the speech and then come and say, and Imam Ahmed said, such and such, and you're falling into it. So based on that, you are kafir. Especially when people want to weaponize the statements of the Salaf. So the Salaf used to say things like, if you see a person criticizing and talking bad about the people of the Sunnah, then he's from the innovators. No, you can't use that open-ended like that. Maybe the two people from the Sunnah, they have beef with themselves, between themselves, as the companions had issues between themselves sometimes. May Allah be pleased with all of them. So the two brothers of the Sunnah, they have some issues between themselves, and he criticizes him or he refutes him. And then he says, that's the sign of the people of innovation. No, don't weaponize the statements of the Salaf. This is really critical and is important. What an Imam Ahmed is saying today is general. You come to this and you apply it to someone is dhulm. This is why we always need people to explain these issues to us. We all need ulama of Islam who explain to us issues like this in books. Whoever the book is his sheikh, he just learns from the books. I don't care how knowledgeable and intelligent, how intelligent he is. If his sheikh is the books, he's going to have some issues that he's going to make mistakes in. So don't weaponize the statements of the Salaf. They used to say things like, I prefer to eat with Jews and Christians than to eat with a person of innovation. They said that. And then the person comes and weaponizes that. And he doesn't like his brother for some reason, and they'll say, I prefer to eat with the Jews and the... No, they didn't mean it like that. They didn't mean it like that. So this is one of those issues. Imam Ahmed, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, the next point from the usul of the Sunnah, the fundamentals and foundations of the Sunnah is that whoever abandons the prayer, he is a disbeliever, he's a kafir. Anyone who doesn't pray, abandon the prayer, he is a kafir. And there is nothing from the actions that we do in Islam that if you were to abandon those actions, it would be considered and it would be constituted as kufr other than the prayer. So if you leave off siyam, if you leave off hijab, if you leave off hajj, if you leave off som and zakat, if you leave off these other things, the abandonment of those things don't make you a kafir. The thing that if you abandon it, it makes you a kafir is the prayer. And then he went on to say, and he concluded, rahmatullah alayhi, by saying, whoever abandons the prayer, he is a kafir. And Allah has made killing him permissible. So the Imam of the Masjid, he issues a verdict of, we're going to go and murder Fulan because he's not going to pray. The leader of the Jama'ah, the group, he's going to make a verdict, so-and-so doesn't pray. We're going to go and kill him? No. The mother and the father, their child is not praying. And they said, I read Usul Sunnah by Imam Ahmed. The father said, you're not praying, son, and he kills his son? No, it's not the meaning. So one more time, because there are three issues in this. Whoever abandons the prayer has disbelieved. There is nothing from amongst the actions in Islam, the abandonment of which constitutes disbelief except the prayer. And whoever abandons the prayer, he is a kafir. and Allah has made killing that individual halal, permissible. Very quickly, we don't really want to get into the depths of the virtues of the prayer, but this is really important. This issue is an issue of fiqh. It has nothing to do with aqidah. This is an issue of fiqh issue. But the scholars of al-Islam will put fiqh issues into these books of aqidah because they would be the miza. They would be like the distinguishing thing between the people of the sunnah and the people of innovation. Like, for an example, some of them will put from the usul of the sunnah is wiping over your khufs. Why? Because the Shiite don't believe in wiping over your khufs. With their bare feet, with no socks, no leather khufs, they wipe on top of their feet with nothing. The people of the Sunnah say, no, that ayat in Surah Al-Ma'idah is talking about wiping over the top of the khuf or the socks. When you take them off, you have to wash your whole feet. So they said, and that was from the usul of the Sunnah. Another fiqh issue is wearing bantalon, sarawil, not bantalon, because some of those people saw the impermissibility of wearing pants, and the people of the Sunnah said, you could wear pants. So this issue of the salat is an issue of fiqh. It's an issue of fiqh that the scholars have ikhtilaf in it. And the scholars اختلفوا حتى مع الإمام أحمد. Some of the scholars don't agree with Imam Ahmed's position, and they're the majority of the ulama. The jamhur of the ulama. Even as a Sheikh Nasiruddin al-Albani, he mentioned that there are narrations where Imam Ahmed said abandoning the salah is kufr. And it's not kufr. So some of those scholars have two opinions in one issue. But the people muta'assibun in their madhabs, they don't always know that. So concerning this issue of the takfir, of the tariq of the salat and being kufr, this was not something that all of the Hanabila were upon. And this is one of the reasons I was talking to a brother, and he said in their country, they call the Hanbalis the mutashaddidun. If you're mutashaddid in a religion, you're Hanbali because of these kinds of rulings. But then Imam Ahmed has his dalil for what he's saying. There's a famous book, probably one of the best books in this issue, and it is a student of the students of Imam Ahmed. His name is Muhammad ibn Nasr al-Marwazi al-Hanbali. He has a book called Kitab Ta'deem Qadr al-Salat. The book that shows the importance of the position of prayer. And in that book, he shows there were Hanabila who were not on this position. And Imam Ibn Qudam al-Maqdisi was Hanbali, and he came later on, and he kind of he made it concise and clear, crystal clear, what that madhab is saying. And he brings the statements of those Hanabila who are not of that opinion. Different statements of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, who is Hanbali in the issue. Let me read this again because it's important, Ikhwani. Imam Ahmed, the Imam of Ahl Sunnah. I'm Ahl Sunnah, you guys are Ahl Sunnah, and we're mu'minun, inshallah. And Imam Ahmed said it, so we have to follow it? We don't have to follow that. And Imam Ahmed didn't come down with revelation from the sky. He said that himself. He said, whoever abandons the prayer, he has disbelieved. And there is nothing from the actions in al-Islam, the abandonment of which constitutes disbelief, except the prayer. And whoever abandons this prayer is a kafir. And Allah has allowed his killing and made it permissible. So the prayer in al-Islam, we don't have to tell you. It is the most important rukn from the arkan of al-Islam and arba' of actions. So the most important rukn is the shahadatain, and that's in your heart. As we mentioned last week, al-iman is what's in your heart and what comes out of your tongue, and it manifests itself on your limbs. And this is why Imam Ahmed is bringing this issue after al-Iman. Because the Murji'ah, they said, you are mu'min, kamilul iman. As long as you say, I believe in Allah, you don't have to pray. Your iman is equal to Jibril and Mika'il. Come on. Fir'aun said, Amantu bi Rabbi Harun wa Musa. He said, I believe in the Lord of Harun and Musa. He's a believer now. Iblis, on the day of Badr, was making waswas to Abu Lahab and Abu Jahl and all of them, making waswas, fight against them. And then when Iblis saw the Malaika with the Muslims, he said, Inni akhaf Allah. I'm free from you people. I see what you don't see. I'm afraid of Allah. He's a believer. المنافقون يقولون بألسنتهم ما ليس في قلوبهم. They say with their tongues what is not in their hearts. Inside is kufr. On the outside, they say we're Muslims. So Imam Ahmed brought this for that reason. The man came and said, Ya Rasulullah, tell me something in Islam. I can only ask you, only you. He said, Qul amantu billahi thumma istaqim. Say, I believe in Allah, and then be upright. Now we all say we believe in Allah, but we fall short of the mark, all of us. May Allah Azza wa Jalla make us as complete as possible, inshallah. But you have to say it. You can't just not say it. It's ijma of the ulama of Islam. If you got a tongue and you can speak and you're not mute, that in order to come into Islam, you have to do the shahada. People have to hear that from you. So al-Iman is what you say is in your heart and it's your actions. So Imam Ahmed brings this issue of As-Salat. Why? Because it's the most important action in Islam. The most important action of the Jawari. As-Salatu khairul mawdu'. The prayer is the best thing that you can do in the course of the day. From the versions of the prayer, we're not here to talk about that. You all know that. If the Prophet ﷺ was bothered by anything was bothering him, he would go and pray. Allah Ta'ala told the people in the Quran, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ وَإِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ. Seek assistance, seek Allah's help in what you're dealing with. Seek Allah's help by having sabr and praying. And verily having sabr and praying is big, except for the people who fear Allah. So anything that happened, he would seek Allah's, there's a drought, seek Allah's assistance. That's what he told us. There's an eclipse, seek Allah's assistance. We're going to make jihad. These people are going to fight us. We're going to seek Allah's assistance and pray. You want a job? Seek Allah's position, Allah's assistance. The very first thing that Allah will ask the people about Yawm al-Qiyamah, it'll be the prayer. And on and on and on and on and on. La tatruk salatan muta'ammida. Don't leave that prayer off intentionally. The wajib prayer. If you leave it off, you will not be in the dhimma of Allah. Allah won't protect you. So as it relates to this issue, it's a big issue of ikhtilaf. The one who doesn't pray, is he a kafir or is he not a kafir? I told you, there's some scholars who say, yes, he's a kafir. I'm talking about our relatives, our sons, our daughters, our cousins, sisters, brothers, mothers, fathers, our neighbors, the people we know. Kuffar. They can't inherit from Muslims. If they die, don't bury them in the maqbara of the Muslims. Don't pray janazah over them. Some scholars took that position. And that is in the position of Imam Ahmed. And that was a position, and is a position of ulama right now in Saudi Arabia. But does that mean we have to take that position? I have to take that position because that's the position of a Sheikh Ibn Baz. I have to take that position. I don't have to take that position without any disrespect to him. And they had their dalil that says that. From those dalil is the clear hadith. The Prophet mentioned, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, العهد الذي بيننا وبينهم الصلاة. The difference between us, the contract between us, the thing between us and them is the prayer. Whoever abandons the prayer is a disbeliever. That's a clear ayat, a clear hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's clear. You disbelieve. He said another hadith, the difference between a man and kufr and shirk is his abandonment of the prayer. He's not praying. He's a mushrik. He's a kafir. That's what the Prophet said. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said in the Quran in Surah At-Tawbah, فَإِنْ آمَنُوا وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةِ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةِ فَإِخْوَانُكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ. If these people from Quraysh or anybody, Muhammad, if they فَإِنْ تَابُوا, if they make tawbah, they stop fighting you, they make tawbah and accept al-Islam, they establish the salat, they give the zakat, then they are your brothers. But if they don't make tawbah from kufr, and they don't establish the salat, and they don't give the zakat, they're not your brothers. So they use those adillah, and other than that. The other position, and they're the majority of the ulama, the jamhur. I didn't say ijma', the jamhur. The majority of the scholars from the Naf and the Shafi'iyya and the Malikiyas, no. If he abandons the prayer because he's lazy and he's negligent, he is doing an action of kufr. Abandoning prayer is an action of kufr. And it's a bigger sin. It's a bigger sin than a lot of the sins that we look at as being really, really big. But they're not kufr. The person who doesn't wear hijab, that's not kufr. When the lady is just being lazy and she's just not there yet, the one who's drinking khamr, it's a big kabira, but that's not kufrun billah. But salat and abandoning it is kufrun billah, an action of kufr. So the people who say that it is not kufr, those who say that it's not kufr, and they're the majority, they got a lot of adillah. We're not here to tell you all those proofs. You can easily find that. Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran, and this is the umda. Anybody have any idea what that ayat is in Surah An-Nisa? You should go back and remember that this ayat, it is for the people of the Sunnah who don't want to make takfir of people. Now, if we have to make takfir, we make takfir. Wala karama. But wholesale takfir, just like that, like you passing out, popcorn or potato chips or, something like that. Swedish fish, you're just passing out halal. No. Inna Allah la yaghfiru an yushraka bihi wa yaghfiru ma duna dhalika liman yasha. Allah will not forgive that you make shirk with him, but he will forgive anything other than that. Anything other than that. If you say la ilaha illallah, you don't make shirk, Allah will forgive that individual. Allah may forgive that individual. The man who had 99 scrolls and he just did all those bad deeds and all he had in his good scroll was la ilaha illallah. He didn't make shit. That's what he had. And it outweighed that. Yawm al-Qiyamah, there will come a group of people from this ummah. They're not going to pray. They're not going to give zakat. They're not going to make hajj. They don't know anything about Islam except that they'll say la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. And the Prophet said they're going to go to Jannah. His companions say, Ya Rasulullah, they didn't make salat, they didn't give zakat. He said they don't make salat, they're going to go to Jannah. The companion said, Ya Rasulullah, they didn't make salat, they didn't give zakat. He said, Ragam Anf Abi Dhar, they're going to Jannah despite what you find it difficult to understand. Because that's going to be the condition of the ummah. That doesn't mean that not praying is easy. Hayyin, layyin. That's a big thing. It's a major sin. It's a major sin. The people who say if you don't pray, they said, from those dalils is what Umar said when he was stabbed and he was dying. Said, La hadda fil Islam, liman la salata lahu. The one who doesn't pray has no portion or part of al-Islam. Another narration, he said, La imana liman la salata lahu. The one who doesn't pray doesn't have any iman. What kind of iman do you have? You don't pray. You don't pray. Those people, listen to this, who say that you are kafir if you don't pray. And this is a very, very strong position of theirs, a very strong one. The tabi'i, who all of the ulama of hadith say that he's thiqa, his name is Abdullah ibn Shaqiq al-Uqayli. He said, the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not consider the abandonment of any action as being kufr other than the prayer. And that's why Imam Ahmed said it. He said, there is nothing from amongst the actions, the abandonment of which constitutes disbelief except the prayer. Where do you get that from? The tabi'i, Abdullah ibn Shaqiq al-Uqayli. He said, those companions, if you didn't wear hijab, if you didn't go to jihad, if you didn't go to Hajj and Umrah, if you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you abandoned those things. He said they didn't think you were kafir just because you abandoned it. Not you were jahid, fighting against it. We'll come to that inshallah. He says, kufrun billah. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. So it's an issue of ikhtilaf. Ikhtilaf. The majority said it is not kufrun billah. I had mentioned earlier in the talk, he told the people sallallahu alaihi wasallam, do not abandon the prayer. But before that, he said, la tushrik billahi shay'a wa in hurriqta aw qutti'ta. Don't make shirk with Allah, even if you get burnt alive. And even if you get chopped up and cut up into pieces, don't make shirk with Allah. Allah won't forgive you. And don't abandon the wajib prayer. Whoever abandons the wajib prayer, he will not be under the protection of Allah. There are many hadith that say that. Whoever takes care of the 5 prayers a day will be under the dhimma of Allah. Whoever doesn't take care of the 5, he won't be under the dhimma. He took care of some of them, but he lost some of them. So he may be under the protection, or he may not be under the protection. But is he a kafir billahi? No. We come to the third part of what Imam Ahmed said, rahimahullah ta'ala. He said, whoever abandons the prayer, then he is a kafir, and Allah has made killing him permissible. The scholars of Al-Islam, ikhwani, they have ijma, ittifaq. The scholars of Al-Islam, there's no ikhtilaf. The scholar of Islam says, if a man denies and rejects Salat is from Al-Islam, and the dalil is brought to him and presented to him, and he persists and insists, you're not a Muslim, man. You're not a Muslim. You are a jahid. You're a person who is opposing something that is known from the religion by and with necessity. And Imam Ahmed said, that individual, Allah has allowed him to be killed. Well, what does that mean? That means there's a person who's not praying. They bring him to the Muslim ruler. The hudud in Al-Islam are not for anybody to do, anybody. Back then, if you had a slave, you can do the had on your slave in a very restrained or constrained way. It's not for everything, but it's your slave back then. But the had is not for anybody. You can't make up your own had, chop a finger off, take the people down to the basement and beat them up. You can't do that. The imam brings this individual. They say to him, we're going to give you 3 days to pray, man. And if you don't pray, you're done. First day comes, he says, I'm not praying. Second day, I'm not praying. Third day, I'm not praying. They're going to kill that man in Islamic theology, in the Muslim world. Not the imam of the masjid, not the admin of the masjid, not the imam of the mudir of the jama'ah, whatever that jama'ah is. No, not the mother, not the father. No. You can't do that. So that's what Imam Ahmed is talking about. Because we've seen in the UK when people, young people, took this thing and they was establishing the Hajj on people. And they were just gangsters going into the Muslim business and saying, you have to pay us protection. Yeah, like the mafia. You have to pay us protection, and we'll protect me from who? Protection, man, like the mafiosos. And if you don't give them the money, they'll put the Hajj on you and burn your place down or beat you up. What are you doing? You got to give us your zakat. And Imam Ahmed is going to mention these things. The zakat is given to the imam. Jihad is behind the imam. It's not behind maybe Bakr, Amr, and Zayd, Min and Nas. That's madness. That's madness. The bay'ah, pledge of allegiance, is to the imam, not the imam of the masjid. So in this issue right here, he's referring to the individual who, and I'm gonna ask you this question. Is it, can you imagine a person is being told you have to pray and he says, well, Lord, I'm not praying. He doesn't believe in Islam. He's going to be dealt with and he's going to be a murtad from the religion. And he's going to be dealt with in that way. That's what Imam Ahmed is talking about. And as we go down, inshallah, in the book, he's going to bring some issues up like this. That who do you give the zakat to? The Khawarij used to tell the people, give the zakat to us. Give the zakat to us. Like what we have today. And that is the mafioso. You give us your money and you get protection if you give it to us. No, you have to give the zakat to the leader of the Muslims or to those agencies that the leader of the Muslim has allowed them to take the zakat. What about here in Qasimi? People come and give us zakat. Should we send our zakat to Morocco and to Egypt and to, no, obviously. You're not going to see a zakat over there. We're going to send it and give the zakat to the Muslim establishments that are taking care of the affairs of the Muslim. When the girl wants to get married, she doesn't have a wali after becoming a Muslim. Who's going to be the wali? The masjid is going to be the wali. Who's going to marry her? The masjid is going to marry her. Who's going to bury her? The masjid is going to bury her. But in the Muslim lands, don't give the zakat to the Khawarij, to the people who make takfir of the leader. He's going to mention that. From the Asul of the Sunnah, if someone comes to your house and he's a thief, you have every right to fight him. And if you kill him, there's nothing on you. But if he runs out of your house, from the Asul of the Sunnah, is not to be a vigilante and run after him. Run after him and catch him like they do in Kenya and other than that. And then throw a tie over his head and set him ablaze. Yeah, they do that in South Africa and they do that in Kenya right now. No. Why? Because the hudud is for the imam. So this is what this issue is about, and it's a tremendous issue. Don't make the mistake of making takfir of people. Now, I'm going to say to you personally, it's a personal issue. For me, being Salafi, and Salafiyya is taking the Kitab and the Sunnah the way the companions did. This is an issue, I'm not going to say I have problems with it, but it's an issue that has always been difficult, that caused some, I don't even know how to describe it. I want to understand and practice the religion the way the companions did. Okay, well, the companions said, if you don't pray, you're a kafir. That necessitates, that designates that I, being a person who want to follow companions, I have to say the majority of this ummah kuffar. Because everybody here, without any exception, we know people who don't pray. And they're from the closest people to us. Everybody here, even if we went as far as to say the majority of the people we know don't pray. They don't pray. May Allah protect us and help us continue to take care of the prayer, cause our kids to take care of the prayer, and cause all the Muslims to pray. So if the Salaf made takfir, the companions, and people who don't pray, why don't I make everybody a kafir? Because it's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to conceive the majority of the Muslims are kuffar. That's a tough position, brother. The majority of the Muslims are kuffar today. No, I say the majority of the Muslims are falling into an action. Many of the Muslims today are falling into an action of kufr. An action of kufr, which is the abandonment of the prayer. So in concluding, we want to make this very, very clear, inshallah. If an individual doesn't pray, it doesn't, and we say he's not a kafir because he's kaslan. He's lazy or he's negligent. He prays sometimes, he doesn't pray sometimes. He lets the salat come and go. He won't get up for fajr intentionally. He doesn't plan on getting up for fajr. Not getting up. That's in his head. He says, I'm not getting up. I'm not going to pray. He's working. He'll let the prayer, dhuhr, asr, come and go, and he allows it. Is he a kafir? Fell into an action of kufr. But the one who is like the majority of our people, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, cousins, friends, neighbors, they are saying, make dua for me. I don't pray. Astaghfirullah. Make dua for me. Make dua for me. He's lazy. She's lazy. I don't wear hijab. I know it's wajib. I'm not jahida. I'm not again. Make dua for me. Make dua for me. Make dua for me. And whoever doesn't live in a glass house, let him throw the first stone. Everybody is making some kind of mistake here and there that they can possibly do better, not do those mistakes, and Allah knows best. So two things of this issue. Al-Iman, for this, from the most important aspects of Al-Iman is the prayer. It is the prayer. The Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the heaviest prayer on the munafiq, the one who says, he says, if he was a mu'min, he says, heaviest prayer, the Fajr prayer. He's not getting up for that Fajr prayer. So Imam Ahmed brought this issue. Second thing is, this is a fiqh issue. It's not an aqidah issue like al-iman, like the mizan. There's no fiqh in mizan, the hawd, the fountain, the issues that we've taken so far. We're going to get some issues now that are issues connected to the fiqh, and the people of innovation went against the people of the sunnah. So Imam Ahmed brought these things saying the people of the sunnah are not like these people. They're not like the people of Tashayyuh. Last thing I want to mention, Ikhwani, I don't want to make this political, but I want to mention this. I've been to Lebanon many times. Lebanon is a beautiful, beautiful place. You got to go there. It's in the Sham. It's a beautiful place. And the Lebanese are Arab people who, they are different in that, in Lebanon, in that area over there, everybody is there. You'll be shocked. There are Romanians. I mean, everybody is there. Everybody, all kinds of people. Christians. Recently, you saw there was a bomb that went off in Lebanon, right? You aware of that? Bomb went off. The guy's pager blew up. His phone blew up. Hezbollah don't mean any good for this ummah. Israel do whatever they want. Hezbollah ain't doing nothing. They ain't doing nothing. But my point is right now, in Lebanon, they have Druze, they have Shiite, they have Christians, they have people of the Sunnah, they have a lot of people. I want to make it clear here today. I want to make it clear today. Those Muslims in Lebanon who've been struggling with their religion all this time, being a person of Al-Islam, the Sunnah, I don't like to see any fitna touch the Muslims of Lebanon or other than that. Wherever they are, we don't want to see fitna and ittirab, disturbance, confusion. We want sakina in the lives of the Muslims, man. So we can't be quick to make takfir of people because this reason or that reason. Whoever abandons the salat is a kafir. Those scholars said, yes, it's kufr, but not kufr to take you out of the religion. Like the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sabbul muslim fasuq wa qatluhu kufrun. To curse at a Muslim is evil, but to fight him, to kill him is kufr. The companions fought each other. They fought each other. And the Prophet told them, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, لا ترجعوا من بعد كفارا يضرب بعضكم بعضا يضرب بعضكم بعض. Don't become kuffar after me by fighting each other after me. Fighting a Muslim is kufr. Do those companions go outside of Islam? La wallahi, they don't go outside of Islam. So the one who abandons Salat, that's kufr. The one who fights a Muslim, kufr. So there is kufr, dun kufr. There is kufr that is not the kufr that takes you outside of Islam. Be careful about making takfir of Muslims. Wholesale takfir. Unless you have a clear dalil for that. All right, Ikhwani, you guys have any questions concerning this issue of the Salat?
The difference between one more time. Difference between and kufr.
There is this kufr of the actions, like fighting a Muslim. It's kufr of the actions, like the kufr of abandoning prayer. Like the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he performed the Hajj, the Salat of al-Eid, and then he went with Abdullah ibn Abbas and Bilal, and they went to the women. He said to the women, tasaddaqna, فَإِنِّي رَأَيْتُكُنَّ أَكْثَرَ أَصْحَابِ النَّارِ. Hey women, give sadaqah. You're the majority of the people of the hellfire. A lady whose cheeks were black, which shows she didn't have any niqab on. She said, Ya Rasulullah, why we women are the majority of the hellfire? He said, because you make kufr of your husbands. Kufr means you reject the ni'mah. You reject the ni'mah, the good that your husbands gave you. Pharaoh said to Musa, إِذْ فَعَلْتَ فَعْلَتَكَ الَّتِي فَعَلْتَ وَأَنْتَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. Hey Musa, you remember you killed that man when you killed him and you were from the kafirin? Pharaoh the kafir calling Musa kafir. It's not my call. You were from the kafirin. We took care of you. We took care of you, Musa. We took care of you. And you still killed that man, you remember? So there's the kufr of the actions. Your mother and your father did everything for you. Everything. And you're not appreciative of what they did. That's kufr of the ni'mah of what they did. Now that kufr doesn't put you outside of Islam. People fall into that. But then there's the kufr of the aqidah in your heart. The person doesn't believe in Allah. He doesn't believe Yawmul Qiyamah. He doesn't believe Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last Nabi and the last Rasul. The individual in his heart, he says, I don't believe that Salat is wajib. You don't have to pray. So the kufr in your heart is the one that puts you outside of Islam, just like that. But the kufr of actions doesn't put you outside of the religion. It's an action that you're doing. Allah knows best. No, the person who falls into the issue of praying and then not praying and then praying and then not praying and then praying and not praying, can we call him a munafiq? We say he has the actions of the munafiqeen. That is an action of kufr. The munafiqun, the hypocrites, that's how they are. They are lazy with their prayer. They are mudhabdhib. They be bouncing all over the place. If they see the people pray, they pray with the people. They don't pray, they don't pray. That's how they pray. That's how they are. The one who lies, that's an action of the munafiq. We don't say you're a munafiq. He promises, brings it, it's an action. We don't say you're a munafiq. Those are the actions. So it's a major sin to do the actions of the munafiqeen, but we don't say you are a munafiq for doing such a thing. Okay, Ikhwani, any more questions for the Akhi? Farouzan.
Very well-known student knowledge here. He said something that stuck with me. He said the companions had ikhtilaf, we can have ikhtilaf. If they didn't differ on something, then he said we can't differ. question is whether the person who abandons Salat is a disbeliever or not. That's something that
That's a good question. When I looked up this issue, you could find this issue with Sheikh Al-Albani. They were saying, the lady had asked him, and the lady said to Sheikh Al-Albani, rahimahullah ta'ala, did the companions have ikhtilaf about the one who abandons the prayer? Did the companions? And he said the companions did not have any ikhtilaf about the person who abandons the prayer and he believes that the prayer is not from Al-Islam. He said you don't find anything like that. Anything like that. And he didn't go into, did the companions have ikhtilaf about the one who's lazy and stuff like that? He didn't even go into that. And it seemed like he, Allahu Alam, didn't go into that from awareness, from wara. He didn't want to get into that. It's what it seemed. It's interesting you asked that question. He said that the companions, it is not worded that the companions between themselves had any ikhtilaf about, it never came that they, about the one who is abandoning prayer because he doesn't believe in it. He said this is clear kufr. He said, as for some said, if you do it lazy, you're kafir. He said this didn't even go into that at all. And that is a true principle. If the companions agreed upon something, no one can come and go against the agreement. No one can come and go against the agreement. And if the companions disagreed on something, as long as the dalil supports both positions, it's permissible. But they disagreed on some things, and the dalil wasn't with the other one. The dalil was with one and not with the other. So we don't say it's permissible to go with the mistaken position of one of the companions. And that's from the buhuth of the usul fiqh in al-Islam, usul fiqh, about the qawl sahaba. How do we deal with the position and the statements of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam? Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.